Hello and thanks for checking out TheChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hello, so I ran out of time, so we're only going to look at a few tickers here. Got to make it brief. CGC, clear bear dump, under 38. Big bear volume, daily RSI, close to oversold, not there yet. 4-hour RSI, just getting oversold. Hourly RSI got crushed. So I was out most of today. Thursdays are my day off. And I wasn't trading, but I sat down in the afternoon and I saw this dip, and we know the pattern. We used to get our gap down opens guaranteed. And recently, the pattern has been guaranteed end-of-day bounces when we're in really oversold conditions. So I scaled in with the intention of entering. And if we got no bounce, then I would buy a gap down if that happened. And then we got the bounce, and I scaled out for just under a day maker. Entered in the 3690s. And again, the 15-minute RSI was absolutely crushed, almost down in single digits. And so entered in the 3690s, exited in the 3730 range, 3728 or something like that. And that was just me being protective and saying, if I have a day maker or just under it, I'm going to lock that in, start tomorrow with a fresh, clean slate. And if we do see continuation down, the hourly RSI has cooled off, but the other RSI levels, specifically the 4-hour, and it's also a playoff of 3653 support. We dropped down and held that support by 18 cents, and that was the low of the Bruce leaving reaction, or I should say Bruce fired reaction. So that's a support level to be watching as well. If we break those levels, the next level that we're going to be looking at is down at 30, it's just psychological levels until 33. So 36, 35, 34, and the more extreme, the better. When we have our sector leader with weakness, and of course, the more extreme, the better, that means me looking for bounces. But our sector leader has weakness. We know there's a lot of fear out there, and this is only going to perpetuate that with CTST and just a dark cloud over the sector at this point, but oversold bounces to be had. Kron had a bullish reaction initially to some news that came out, but obviously didn't hold on to those gains. 1483 is key support. We knew we were just looking for a daily lower high. 1585 is that new lower high. And we're looking down at 1483 to see if we're going to drop to lower lows, and then we would look for the gap fill at 1445. CTST traded it again. So that's 4 days in a row now. I've played CTST bullish where shares are available. I don't have shares available to short on Fidelity, but the past 2 days I've exited break even. And that's just me setting myself up into a situation that I like and keeping a tight stop loss. So today we had a big gap down open. I wasn't online and I missed that. Came and sat down 5 minutes after the bell rang to check in on things and missed that open. But what I entered on was a break of pretty much I bought $3 resistance. The high of the day was 302 and I bought $3 anticipating that if the psychological level of $3 fell again, that we would follow through and break that 302 to see a new high of the day, and I thought that would put some pressures on shorts to cover. So entered at 298, exited half of my position at 301, and then exited the rest of the half at break even. Did end up consolidating and seeing continuation, but missed that move and just fine with it because I'd much rather play protective and cautious trying to play these bounces. We did have a press release after hours that pretty much said we're going to stop all sales of medical. I haven't even read it yet, so go read that yourself. But it was clearly a bearish reaction on low volume, but the low of 269 could be in play as a bottom fishing play into tomorrow. One thing to consider, a lot of people are anticipating getting the license revoked for a year and not being able to sell. We're getting articles coming out saying this could happen, this could happen. Just know that every time we drop and every time we get an opinion or something about what's going to happen in terms of punishment, it gets priced in a little bit more. So just like we have a sell the news event, when we know there's a known event and we run up into it, if we dump down into a bad event, that's a buy the news event. Now, I'm not saying this is a buy the news event because it depends on what the chart looks like when that news does come. If we had, a fourth gap down open and then the news released, I'd be looking at it as a buy the news event. If we see a daily short-term bounce into a bear flag and then we get that news, it's a completely different scenario. Just be aware that a buy the news event is such a thing when the market has ample time to price in what the potential outcome that we're waiting on is. So with where we stand on the hourly time frame, we didn't change the trend. We have the low of 269, the high of 327, which is just another lower high staying in the downtrend, and a support level of 298. So 298 and 269 are our supports. It's quiet. And our resistance is 327. We have to hold 269 and break 327 to change the hourly trend, or we're just going to fade back down with continuous lower high patterns. VGW, I have to chart the US ticker here because the Canadian ticker only has 2 days of data from the uplisting. We're looking up at all-time highs. We definitely saw profit taking today, but the fact that we got within striking distance, that all-time high, we got up to 349, all-time high, 17 cents away. That's a 4-5% move to see all-time highs. This is a name that is going to benefit significantly from the hype that we get into October and December for edibles. Bruce just stoked the coals a little bit by saying, this development for the MJ space is going to be more significant than smokable flower. And we're going to be watching for extraction plays to get a lot of that focused attention in the anticipated fall run after everybody looks for the summer lull to be over. Keep an eye on VGW. We have the other names like labs and oils, but VGW has time and time again shown us it's the clear winner. And another thing that it shows us is that anybody that uplists in this sector sees beneficial reaction to that. It's almost some of the most bullish news that you can get in this sector, that you're uplisting to a major exchange to have access to better capital and better markets for trading and more liquidity. And that's essentially what we're waiting for in the US sector when we get rescheduling or something along those lines that allow for uplisting. That's pretty much going to be a green light for a lot of names to uplist. So the market will respond. Even before we get the uplist news, the market will respond bullish, and then one by one, each individual name will get its uplist news, and that's why we're going to be so bullish, the USMJ sector, once that regulation change does take place. Cureleaf had a significant bearish day after some weak bear days with breaks and no follow-through. There was some more volume behind this one and some more pullback. The daily RSI is now 29. I'm getting interested. We don't have a ton of support. We have 815. That's a key level. And if we were to drop down towards 815 from here, that's going to be about a 5% pullback. The daily RSI would be in the low 20s if it were to happen within the next couple of days. The 4-hour RSI just getting oversold, and the hourly RSI is oversold. So I will be interested in a play off of 815 support if we were to get towards that level tomorrow or Monday without cooling these RSI levels off too much. But again, the bulls have not proven anything to us on this daily time frame in months. So we're just going to look for lower highs. Anything under 935 is just a lower high with the daily exponential resistance as a great guide, keeping every single bounce attempt rejected. And I was in a position and I exited a position when we broke to a lower low on the daily. And again, I am interested again, just kept that loss small, kept that starter position small, and now I am watching for the potential of a scale-in oversold bounce play, but only if things get brutal and we drop down close to $8 in the short term. So that's all I'm going to look at for now. IIPR hit new all-time highs today thanks to the S&P 500 strength. A lot to look at, but I'll look at it in depth this weekend. I got things to do, people to see. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you this weekend. So this morning's task is to evict a nest of yellow jackets in the lawn here that's in the way of our raised beds. This is our tool for turning up the top of the soil and the grass, and it's different than your standard hoe, which is just flat. This has a bit of an undercut, and that makes all the difference in the world in terms of digging in and getting that grip and allowing you to just peel back that layer of soil. So we'll see how it goes here. I just hit the part that has all the eggs in it. So hopefully that's enough motivation. I assume that's the queen there, the biggest one obviously. You can see the paper nest that you usually see above ground in a lot of places. But I figure this way is better than just spraying it with a bunch of Raid. Number one, to not put Raid in the soil that we're about to grow in, and number two, to give them a chance to go elsewhere.